Yeah, hello. Welcome everybody to this Mirasys webinar today. So I hope you are well, everybody. And thank you for joining this. So today we are talking about the Mirasys VCA AI-driven video analytics. So, but let me introduce myself first of all, which is slightly fair. So I'm the presenter today. So my name is Udo Schneider, and I'm the Sales and Business Development Director of Mirasys. I'm based in Munich, or very close to Munich, in lovely country Bavaria. So, and I'm responsible for the Central European and Eastern European market. So this is my 8th year right now in Mirasys, so I'm a little bit experienced, let's say it that way. Before we start today, I would like to ask you if you have any questions, please put them into the questions Q&A box of the Teams tool. And I will come back to them, to the questions later on during the Q&A session. Just one note, if you are logged in as anonymous, please leave also your email address so that we can, if I'm not able to answer the question during this webinar, I can answer this afterwards, so I can contact you. Otherwise, it's really useless. For those, yeah, what is the content today? So first of all, surely for those who are new right now, never heard about Mirasys, I would like to talk about Mirasys in some small sentence. And I would like to talk also about our philosophy of open, easy, secure and intelligent video management systems. So that means for all the guys who are knowing us already, who are using us already, it's now time to take a cup of coffee, to take a cup of espresso or tea or whatever, or a beer, who knows, and come back in a couple of minutes. For all the newbies, we will give some information about this. And then we will talk, or I will talk about Mirasys Video Content Analytics. So it would not be a technical wise webinar. I would like to give you an overview, what we can do today, what we have in plans for the, let's say, nearest future and the next years as well, so that you have at the end a complete overview of our capacity. So I would like to talk about the VCA features in general, so our VCA tools, what is new in version 9.4. I would like to talk about intelligent camera support. So what is if we have VCA based in the cameras? I would like to talk about quickly about our license plate recognition, about the facial recognition plugins that we have in place right now. Forensic analyzing is as well as is something that is also important for us, because to drill down and search for specific objects in recordings is very essential. And then at the end, this is upcoming very quickly, also customized AI modeling, what we are offering as well. So, and in the end, we will have a Q&A session as usual. Yeah, let's start with talking about Mirasys itself. Okay, who are we? Mirasys' general philosophy is really to focus on the most valuable data, most valuable information that we have to design business and to design security, and that's data. And we are not talking about data, video data by itself. We are talking about also audio communication. We are talking about data from third-party systems. We are talking about data that we can collect from cameras, that we can collect from IoT devices or whatever. Because we think that data are important to build up a decision, to make a decision. Without data, it's impossible to make the right decision at the right time. And that's very essential for us. So in that case, we are really eager to collect data, to analyze data, to make your decisions easier for you and to make it happen that you are doing the decision in the right time, let's say in that way. Because this makes your operation easier. That makes it easier to drive your business. And that's our philosophy in general. Who the hell are we? So we are one of the pioneers of the video management system. So over 24 years right now in the business, headquartered in Finland. So you know it from the past. You know it also that Finland is very dedicated for development and technology, new technologies. So in that case, we are very proud to have our headquarters in Espoo in Finland, very close to the airport in Helsinki. So we have more than 70,000 customers worldwide. We have a couple of connected cameras anyway. And we are doing business indirectly. That means in, let's say, nearly 100% of the cases, we are doing business via partners, distribution channels, system integrators, installers, technology partners. Sometimes we are working very close together with the camera manufacturers, with manufacturers of access control systems, radar systems, for example. Every technology partner who could bring a benefit for our customers and sometimes also for us is welcome to cooperate with us. So, and then we are OnWith contributing member and Mirasys Microsoft Gold partner. So that means our system is based on Microsoft operating systems. Okay. We are feeling well with every kind of vertical or every kind of this industry. So it does not matter for us if it is banking sector, if there are city surveillance, military installations. I by myself have also very good contacts to the military area, and we have a lot of installations there here in Central Europe. If it is a port, if it's an airport, if it's retail, a restaurant, for example, or just a kiosk or a bar, or if it is a stadium or let's say a casino. So our casino business in the US is very big. So we are feeling well with all these industries, and we have proven solution for them. Okay, let's talk about the software quickly. So we say we are open, easy, secure, and wise software, or intelligent software, wise, intelligent. So I think wisdom is something that is a little bit higher than intelligence, my opinion, honestly. But let's have a quick look over these philosophies that we have in our software and in our company, our team as well. First of all, we have an open ecosystem. That means we can connect nearly every video resource or video source that we can find. So independent of if it is a camera via native driver of a very popular camera manufacturer, if it is an OnWith driver, which is connecting to nearly 100% of all the OnWith cameras which are in the market. Sometimes there are very exotic camera manufacturers who are not speaking OnWith correctly. So also we are very relaxed in that. Or if it is just, let's say, an RTSP streaming or an HTTP streaming, a webcam or a body cam, or just a simple monitor of a PC, we can connect to every video resource and can record it. It's the same for the audio resources, the same for data from third-party systems. So our open ecosystem is designed in that way that we can very easily connect to a third-party system and get data out. Maybe an access control system or a radar system or whatever. So we have a lot of drivers for them. We have a lot of intelligence in the system, and it is very easy and cost effective to connect to them. If we are talking about integration, integration does not mean that we need to define an interface with a lot of costs in that case, or huge costs. So in that case, we are very cost effective, and you see also here our existing partners. So a broadband, and these are not all the partners that we are connecting to. And on the other side, we are also connecting our system to third parties, like the command and control PSIM systems. You see here advances as a building management system, fast systems, for example, CNL, Intergraph, etc., etc. And these are not all of them. ESI France, for example, is a partner. So we have also discussions with other PSIM providers where we need to be integrated in, so they can manage our videos, video recording, live videos, alarm management, etc. out of their software, and we are behind them. All right, I'm jumping over this because this is just describing how we do the integration. So nothing that is really important for us right now. So I need to speed up also a little bit. Okay, easy to use is our credo for the Mirasys video management. And also this is something that our partners and our customers highlighting all the time when we're asking, oh, how do you feel about Mirasys software? It's quick and easy to install and deploy. It's very fast and simple to configure, even if it is a very complex scenario or complex system. You can manage the system completely from a central point of view, independent of if you are doing this locally or remotely, if your system is distributed worldwide or whatever in multiple branches, if you have different customers for the system, etc., etc. And the maintenance is also done centralized. So in that case, if you want to upgrade the system, if you want to integrate a new driver, you do it centralized for all the recorders that you have in the pipe. Nearby said we have one system that has more than 600 recorders in one single system. This is a city surveillance system in Thailand, and they do a centralized management of that. And then also for the end user, yeah, a very good user interface and a very good user experience. It must be smart, it must be light, it must be flexible and very intuitive. And this is something that is Mirasys standing for. So all the time we are interested in how can we make it easier for the customer? How can we make it simpler for the customer? Just to mention, we are bringing out right now the HTML5 client for a web client for end customers in the next version. So it doesn't mean that we don't need to have this Java applets anymore. In that case, it is very easy, it's very simple and gives you more flexibility and more features as well. Nothing about a secure system. No, that's wrong. Sorry for that. So a secure system is very important. So we're talking about cybersecurity, we are talking about breaches today, etc., etc. For us, it is very important that on one side, the communication in the system is secured. That means encrypted from the camera over the server, over the master server to the client, to the remote client as well via firewall, but also the streaming. And that's very important. Today's OnWith profile allows us to stream the camera, to encrypt the camera stream from the camera down to the client. So between server and client, that's easy because this is our task. But from the camera to the server or from the camera to the client, that's very important. This was the leak that we had today. Yeah, now it's solved. We have this dedicated partners like Hikvision, like Access, etc. But also for all OnWith profile, I think it's profile T that is enabling this feature. So it's now up to the camera provider to deliver also this profile T to their cameras so that they're enabling this camera encryption as well. Then access to the system is also very important. So one single password, 4 eyes principle. So that means 2 password fields or 2-factor authentication. That means you have an authentication app, you have an account there, and you're getting an on-rolling key that you need to put in before you are entering the system. One of our partners is using an ID card reader to enter the system for the end users as well. So they did an integration with this. And then at the end, also we are working on the HTTPS communication internally. That means to make the communication more safe and smarter as it is today. Yeah, lighter than it is today, so that the communication between the clients and the servers, between the master servers and the recorders is lighter, is simpler, and is easier and more secure. At the end, intelligent video. I'm jumping over this because this is the content of our discussion today that we have. Okay. At the end, our efforts are done to have a win-win partnership. So we're talking about lower total cost of ownership. If we have an easier to install system, if we have an easier to train system, yeah, easier to use, it means less investment, it means less installation costs, it means less training sessions, and at the end, it means less total cost of ownerships. Then with our SMA, we have a non-maturing system. You have access to all the upgrades at any time if you have an SMA. And at the end, also Mirasys and its software is strongly customer focused. That means all the features, all the improvements are done by your feedback. And that's important. That's an important message. So we are not thinking about ourselves and thinking, yeah, we are the greatest. And I think this feature would be useful for the customer. Together with you, we are looking for new technologies. We are looking to make your life easier, and then we implement it. And that's our philosophy. Okay. So hope that all the guys are back with, let's say, a beer or another drink or a coffee at least, or an espresso. So we're not talking about video content analytics today. So our capabilities, as I mentioned today already, it is not in deep what we can do. Let's say in technical training. So maybe we do this in another web session. It is giving you an overview about the new capacities that we have. Okay, so I'm taking my laser pointer here. Right. Okay, these are the features which have been available so far in the old versions. So we have the zones here. You have counting lines. Tripwires, for example, then have different filters. You have the three-dimensional calibration, sometimes very painful, very time intensive to do this. You have also the object tracker, which gives you adjustment to identify the objects, the right objects. You know, a person can be minimum square meters, maximum square meters, minimum speed, maximum speed, etc., etc. So you could calibrate your system so that you're getting the right information at the right time. The next version is having additional features, and we are talking about two different versions here. The first is the VCA core version, which is containing all of these features as well, but in addition, abandoned object filters, logical rules and color filters. So this does mean now that we can also identify or alarm on colors, on different colors. We can identify abandoned objects, and that we also can do logical rules. I'm coming later to this within the VCA configuration, and that's brand new. Yeah, because today you need to do this in the alarm management of Mirasys. And within this, with this feature of VCA core, now you are able to do the logical rules directly in VCA and manage different zones, different rules together and set and or previous time filters, etc., etc. If we are talking about artificial intelligence, AI, then it needs a bit more. And therefore, we have this VCA Core AI or VCA AI Core functionalities, which is a deep learning filter, deep learning object tracker, and deep learning people tracker. What enables this? This allows us to set up the system in that way that it is starting, let's say, to learn by itself, to identify what is a person, what is a human being, gives a certain accuracy, and what is a car, for example. So this three-dimensional calibration does not play that role anymore. This object tracker does not play that big role anymore because the system is adjusting or calibrating itself. Yeah, there are more algorithms behind this, or let's say processes behind this. To explain this would take much more time than I have right today. To explain how it is working. But in that case, deep learning filter, object tracker, and people tracker allows you much easier to set up the VCA as it has been before. And if somebody is here in the auditorium who has done this once or two times to set up VCA, first of all, it's a long learning curve. And secondly, could be a nightmare sometimes, because especially the three-dimensional calibration, you need to have the lens information of the camera, you need to have the angle information, the height of the installation, you need to have the size of the sensor, etc., and set up this in the way that the calibration is correctly done. Today, with those deep learning functionalities, it can be done automatically, and this is easing up our life very much, I can tell you, very much. So I have one project right now where I'm supporting my partner in that way, and it's a very hard process so far. This makes it life easier. So we have artificial intelligence functionalities, or let's say algorithm features already in the new VCA Core AI. So there will be two different licenses for this as well. So there will be a VCA Core and a VCA Core AI license in the next price books. So, and you can decide what you want to have, the easy way, or let's say the more, let's say, complex way. Let's have a look to a couple of those new features. So deep learning people tracker, what does it mean? So in principle, it is putting a skeleton, a virtual skeleton to every person, and is putting, I think, up to 28 different points on the body. You see these points here: an elbow, a shoulder, a hand, the knee, the hip, face, ears, etc., etc. And this information is used to identify a person, first of all, that it is a person, and secondly, also to learn the system what a person is. Nearby said, it will also put, the system will also put this information into a metadata. It could deliver metadata so that we can train the system afterwards, customized, first of all, to certain behavior. If somebody's kneeling down, for example, or somebody's slipping down, falling out of the bed or whatever, is much easier right now to do in this customization. It is not standard in the actual VCA, but we can customize this because this gives us the tools to do this, the metadata. So you can see in former times it was just a box around this. So you have seen, okay, this is the size of a person, minimum square meters, maximum square meters, speed. Now it is much more complex and much more accurate. Then logical rule example. This is really a screenshot of the rules. So you can do this in that way so that you say, okay, first of all, there is a presence on the fence. There is a zone on the fence. So here the trigger, it is not triggering an alarm in the first stage. Then we have a second presence on the interior zone here, for example. Again, not triggering an action, but together with this crossed fence, so within an interval of time, this does mean then trigger an alarm. That means if somebody is moving here, nice. If somebody is climbing over the fence and jumping into this area, then create an alarm. So in former times, this was done on Mirasys VMS, so with the alarm management, so that you can set up and or inputs. Now you can do this directly within the VCA configuration within the system manager, Mirasys System Manager. So completely integrated, and then it's triggering an alarm. The funny thing is that those metadata, all of this metadata, are put into our alarming system so that you also can mix and match in that way. So you can set up, okay, I want to have this an alarm, but I want to have, for example, a low-level alarm if somebody's presence in the interior area or in the other area. So all is possible, but it is up your life of configuration, especially in this, let's say, graphical view here, so that you can see this, what is happening, so you can see the dependencies. Okay. Then also schedule within the VCA core configuration. So you can define schedules with 30 minutes increments here and can set up this alarm or alarm options. So in that case, you can say really, okay, I want to have this alarm based on the schedule over the night, but I want to have this alarm or this input trigger on daily base, or over the day, over the business time, etc., etc. So you can really mix and match whatever you want, and that makes it very easy to manage your VCA in that way without touching Mirasys alarming. So this is coming afterwards then. So you can do a lot within the VCA so far. Yeah, this was about I think this was about the VCA news that we have. I hope it gives you some new ideas and was very interesting for you. The next step is also, what are we doing with intelligent cameras? Today, we have a lot of intelligent cameras outside which are doing VCA or AI as well within the camera. So Hikvision is providing this Dahua, Bosch, and Pelco for the thermal cameras. There are a lot of other providers, but these so far are the camera providers where we have our proxy driver. This does mean, what does it mean? We have a proxy driver that will be installed, and then it's receiving the metadata, the events from the camera, and put it as metadata into our alarm management. The same way as you are getting the metadata from our VCA server-based, you are getting the metadata from the cameras. So we're using the same principle for connecting also via proxy to third parties as well to receive information from, for example, from an access control system from SA Bloy, for example, to put this information as metadata into our system, record it, and then secondly, use it as trigger for actions, for alarming. So you can decide what you want, and you can mix up also. If you have intelligent cameras inside the system, you can use them. If you don't have intelligent cameras, or you have a second camera which is not intelligent, you can use our VCA for this camera. So you can mix up, you can match it up, and you can use the best of both worlds. Let's say the server-based VCA and the camera-based VCA. So this, for example, is a good example. Is we had this request for temperature metadata from a camera. So it was not in our proxy right now, but the partner, the technology partner, was able to deliver this temperature as a metadata. So we implement this then, and we can generate alarms based on the temperature in a very simple way. So we are supporting cameras in that way, intelligent cameras, and there will be more and more in the next future. Okay. If we are talking about video content analysis itself, and maybe also about artificial intelligence as the next generation, we need also to talk about simple things like license plate recognition and facial recognition, because this is also video content analysis. So what we are doing today is the first setup is right now that we have the Spotter Easy LPR here. This is a camera-based number plate recognition or license plate recognition, and this is Spotter plug-in. What it is based on Axis camera, Dahua, and Hikvision so far. More to add in the future on requirements also. What does it mean? It is taking all the metadata from the camera, if it is recognizing a license plate, and put it into our database. It is recording this information next to the videos as well. And then you can have black and white lists in the plugin. And you can manage this black and white list. This does mean you can import them, you can export them via XML. So you can prepare your black and white lists and then import them into Mirasys. And on the other side, you can also manage the black and white lists inside the camera. Inside of each camera separately or for all the cameras. That means you import, for example, a black and white list that you have prepared, and then you transmit it or transfer it to all the number plate recognition cameras that you have. So for example, if you have a big industrial area and you need to have the same black and white listing for all the cameras, simply do one click and it's done. Yeah, so this is the number plate recognition. You can search within, you can create alarms because these metadata are stored in our metadata database and also available for alarming as a trigger. In future, so that means in, let's say, March or February, we will have also our smart LPR. Sorry. What does it mean? This is a server-based LPR available for every camera. This is an inside number plate recognition that enables you to use every camera that has the right angle and the right where the pixel density is good enough to create number plate recognition. It's the same plugin, but it is completely server-based. So this is our own, let's say, engine that we are using, our own modeling in that way. But in the main features are nearly the same, maybe a couple of more, because in that case we can handle more listing. We can have also a guest listing, for example, or a green listing or whatever. But in principle, it is the same like the Easy LPR. And then at the end, a lot of customers are asking today, okay, could you not also develop a facial recognition? Also in version 9.5, February next year, it will be implemented, and it will be also a server-based facial recognition for every kind of camera. So also here, the pixel density plays a role. It's important, but it's also to manage to read in faces, to read in snapshots, photos into a database, and then recognize the person, if it has access or not, for example, for access control, keyless access control, something like this, or to identify persona non grata in a shopping mall, etc., etc. So it can be used for this. So this is also video content analysis. That's the reason why I put it into here. And in some of the cases, we are using also better models than ever before. And these models are using also automatically adjustments, etc., etc. So in that case, the models are more AI driven than ever before. If we're talking about AI, we need also to talk about forensic analytics. This is something that we are doing as well. So the first, if you remember, we had a seminar about this person search plugin, which allows you to search for persons, for a dedicated person within multiple videos, either live videos or recorded videos with a very high speed, up to 64 times queue in that way. And we will also develop more and more features into this in the next versions. So there will come maybe a truck, pickup, car, cabrio, motorcycle, different objects, etc., colors, and so on, to make more forensic analytics. At the end, also analytic models are behind this, and we will add more and more to this to ease up also the search. What we have in mind so far is also that we are not doing this only on the client base. What we will do it is also on the server base. But at the end, it is a part of our AI-based technology. Yeah, and it will ease up our search to really find the right scenarios at the right time. This can be tested, by the way, today already, because it's part of the version 9.3. If you want to have a demo, call us, send us an email, and we will send you a demo license for this. And then it's enabled for 30 days or maybe 60 days so that you can test it, try it out. And then afterwards you can say, okay, I want to buy it. Honestly, it starts to work with version 9.3 and beyond, not with lower versions. But needless to say, our upgrade philosophy, again, if you have a master server of version 9.3 and you have, for example, servers with a lower version, it is working because it depends on the master server. The client is connecting to the master server and getting the information what he can do, the rights. So in that case, you can use it also with lower version recorders in that way. Okay. Next slide. So now we are coming to a scenario or to a market field, which is, I think, from my point of view, very important in the future. So we have spoken about artificial intelligence usage in the VCA. So with a lot of triggers, a lot of filters, etc. We have spoken about the standard, let's say, AI modeling for number plate recognition, facial recognition, etc., etc. We see today a trend that more and more customers are coming and saying, okay, I have a special requirement. I need to identify a special scenario. I have a lot of problems with violation, aggressive people. There are fights, street fights, for example, I want to identify. Or there are special behavior in my supermarket I want to identify. Yeah. I need to identify guns in hands, yeah, long guns or pistols or whatever. I need to identify them. I need to identify if somebody is wearing a helmet, if he's coming in with a helmet on top into a gas station. Normally this is not allowed, at least in Germany. You need to take off your helmet, but a lot of people are doing this. Yeah, so I need to alarm this. So special modeling, first of all, for a certain behavior or identification of objects, customized on the requirements, multiple triggers, for example, if somebody is wearing a mask and having a gun, then it could be a burglar or a robbery for a bank, for example, to make them dependent on the rules, yeah, via rules. And then also a system which is constantly learning so far. So that means if it has false positives, that it is understanding, okay, or is getting the feedback, this was a false positive, please take care of this, take a note of this, and the system is adjusting itself automatically. A system that is also, if a better modeling is coming, for example, or an upgrade of the modeling is coming, can be changed immediately so that the better modeling is giving more accuracy, and that the accuracy is growing over the time by having more and more false positives. Each false positive, it is the same way as as with a human beings. Yeah. So if I did something wrong, I remember. And then afterwards, I remember, okay, this was completely wrong. I don't do this again. Sometimes I do it because I like it. However, that's in human nature. And then also to deliver this as a local service on a PC or as a cloud-based service. To deliver this also as an, let's say, license or as a service in general from the license point of view. So this is something that is coming more and more, and I think this is something that is driving our business in the future, in the nearest future. Already today, because I have three AI customized AI projects right now here in my territory, where we're doing proof of concepts right now, and then we'll launch this to the customer for the daily usage. Right, so I'm done so far. So I just want to sum up or wrap up what the contents that we have today. So we were talking about the our VCA, video content analytics rules and features that we have so far. We were talking about the VCA Core and VCA Core AI, which we will have implemented into the nearest future with version 9.4. We have talked about the capabilities to use the deep learning filters, deep learning people tracker, as an AI entrance to automatically adjust the system, that the system can learn over the time. These are human beings and getting more and more accurate and ease up also our life for installation. We have talked about the forensic analytics and also what we have in plan for the future. We have talked about license plate recognition, our pipeline in this, and facial recognition, our pipeline in this. And then at the end, this is something that I like it very much, because it gives us a very close relationship to the customer and really solve the problems of a customer. Customized AI modeling based on their requirements, special features, special identifications, special intelligence for the customer. As I said, I like this very much, but it does mean also a proof of concept. It does mean to take some money in your hand out of your pocket, and work together with the partner and the customer to realize this, or at the end to say, no, we can't do this, because not all the things can be done today, even today. But at the end, with this jump into the AI and the better performance that we have all today based on the PCs, new CPUs, better GPUs, higher performance, we are enabled to deliver better video content analysis to the end customer than it has been ever before. Yeah, we are coming to the Q&A session. We have some questions here, so I want to just to jump to these questions. The first question was about the pricing, as usual. We will adjust our price book to the new VCA packages that we have. I think the price book will come out in mid of December when version 9.4 will be launched, and also the easy LPR will be content of this. What would it cost? I would not say exactly what would it cost, but it is very cost effective in that way, and it's not too expensive, let's say in that way. The proxy drivers for the cameras itself are already content of the or part of the standard VMS licenses. There is no additional license to use this metadata in our software itself. So in that case, I can't say it's free of charge because it's part of the camera license itself. And also for the facial recognition, we are in the evaluation phase right now. I think until end of January, and then we can say, okay, what is the pricing for the facial recognition? It would be, let's say, market conform, and it would be very attractive for you to use it because the benefits are very high. There is one question coming: is there ability to have a lot of servers as independent servers for a single spotter client? A lot of servers as independent. So that means master servers or master recorders. I see it in that way. Yes, I got this question already. That you can log in one single time to all of the servers. That's something that you mean. I think that's what you have in mind right here, because I have similar requests. Not yet so far. So there is one single login of the client into one single master at the same time. And if you want to log in into the next master, you need to log out and to log in again. I have a couple of customers who are using scripts for doing this automatically. So there is a way, but it's always a log in and log out. But I know I got this request from one of my partners who has exactly this problem to do a change. So we are in the situation right now that we plan to do this change. So it depends on the customer really, so that there is a certain development efforts that we need to do, that we can log in from a single spotter to multiple masters at the same time. What is possible so far, so this is not our discussion today, but just to answer this to you, is to have a so-called supermaster. So to primarily to the client to set up a separate master, which is not recording, but which can connect to all the submasters, and then the spotter client can log into this supermaster. Let's say in that way. But this is the only way today to use a separate master. What you can do is maybe you speak to us if you have special requirements to use the client as a supermaster server in that way to log in locally. But let's talk about this maybe separately because it's not part of this discussion so far. Do you have a plan to update web client to not use Java? Yes. In 2 weeks' time, hopefully, we will have version 9.4, and version 9.4 will be launched with an HTML5 client. So no Java anymore available. Necessary, or whatever you call it. So the HTML5 client will be delivered within 2 weeks' time with version 9.4. I have seen the first beta versions right now, and I'm very excited because we have now more capacities. So you can run PTZ cameras in this. You can multiple live streams. You have different tabs as well as you have in the Spotter client, and we have also a mobile web client, which allows you to have a much better view of on your mobile client, on your mobile web client like Safari, etc., of the cameras than you have with the standard Android or iOS applications or the apps right now. So I'm very proud on this because this was one of the biggest wishes that I had for Christmas, and it will be realized. Okay, any other questions? I need to drill down. Oh, yes, okay. Will you send a recording of this webinar? Yes, this webinar is recorded. You can share it with your customers, with your colleagues or whatever. You can use this for advertisement or whatever. It will be published in our YouTube channel, let's say within the next 2-3 days. I think Kaur will launch it again. So normally standard time is 2-3 days and then it is available. If you want to have a look to our YouTube client, all the webinars that we had held in German and in English and in Finnish so far, or in other languages, are part of our YouTube channel, and also some, let's say, smaller or shorter videos about tricks, tips, etc., etc. I think there are more than 60 videos so far in the YouTube channel. Please use it to make your life easier for your customers as well, to send to the customer the link, and then the customer can have a watch to this. Yeah, okay. I think so far these are the questions. If you have additional questions, don't worry. We are not out of the game. So just get in touch with us via sales@mirasys.com or your local Mirasys supplier, or just give me also a personal notice on udo.schneider@mirasys.com. So I'm even if it is not my territory, I'm very happy to get your critics, your critical notes, or your stars as well. If you're happy with this webinar, if you have also ideas how we can improve the webinars, what is of interest for you as well, just let us know, because we are here to support you and not to support our own mind. So at the end, I would like to say thank you for your attendance. I'm looking outside my window. We have a snowstorm so far, so the winter has come here in the Munich area. I wish you a nice time. Stay healthy. And just to remind you, in 2 weeks' time, we have another webinar. I think then it will be about version 9.4 and the contents, and then another short before Christmas, where we have a wrap up of 2021 and an outlook in 2022. I'm really happy to see you again. Stay healthy. Bye-bye. All the best. Cheers.